Do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.
Hey everybody, this is Dr. Willie Jolley, and this is the beautiful bride Dee, and I am with her. We're the authors of the book Make Love, Make Money, Make It Last, 10 Secrets to Shape a Great Marriage. We're grateful to be on with you. I am encouraging people who are on IG tonight. You might want to jump on one of the other platforms because we've got a special guest, and unfortunately you can hear her if you're on IG, but you won't be able to see her. And she is gorgeous. She's just gorgeous.
Why don't you tell who she is?
I've got to tell her. Would you give me time? And so we got a special guest, a special edition of the Jolley Marriage Show tonight. We've got a special guest. Her name is Bonika Wilson. She's the author of this book, and it's an incredible book. It's called Marriage Business: From Proposal to Prosperity, Building Your Dynasty the Fortune 500 Way. Foreword by my friend Marshall Goldsmith, who I've had on my Sirius XM show a number of times, as well as a quote on the back from two folks I know, Dr. Willie and Dee Jolley. And so we're going to read that in a little while. Bonika Wilson, welcome to the Jolley Marriage Show.
Thank you guys so very much for having me. I mean, where else would I rather be on the Jolley Marriage Show? I mean, hey, I'm trying to have a jolly good marriage.
Oh, well, you are awesome. She's married to my dear friend, Dante Wilson. He and I have been friends for about 15 years. I met him when he was the president of BB&T Bank in Washington, and we became friends. And then he moved from Washington to Birmingham and then Atlanta. I mean, he's been all over the place. He now is one of the highest ranking African-American people in the banking business. And he and his wife have been married, I think, 23 years, haven't they?
That's right. 23 years, 24 on August 12th. So we have an anniversary
coming up soon.
Yes,
so
next year we will be 25, y'all.
All right, that's it. There you go. Well, that's fantastic. Well, anyway, Dante's a dear friend, and Bonika wrote this wonderful book. Shout out to folks. Let's see, people are joining in, and I want to make sure we say hello to folks wherever you may. All right, there we go. So jumping back on with people jumping in, we got Greg and Linda who are watching from home in West Virginia, and we've got other folks joining on. So let's talk about, first of all, the fact that if you're a first timer, we want to welcome you to the Jolley Marriage Show. We've been here now for about 5 years every Monday night. We haven't missed a Monday night in 5 years talking to people about marriage.
Or pre-recorded now. Physically.
Yeah, but we have had a show.
Yes.
All right. And we are grateful for the marriages that have been healed, who were on their way to divorce, marriages that have been restored, that were broken. And so we've had letters from people who said, we were on our way out, but we started watching your show and we started reading the book. And we read the book together. We always recommend get 2 copies of the book and read it at the same time. Not one read it and then the other one read it. You read it together. And then you talk about each chapter and what you learned about each other at the end of each chapter, the learning points. We've had so many people who have had dramatic and transformational responses to their wedding, or their marriage. Okay, let's go with Bonika.
First question. How did you come up with the name of the book, Marriage Business?
Hold up. You jumping ahead. No. I got to tell a little bit more about Miss
Y'all just like a married couple. Y'all love it.
I want to tell about this lady. She is awesome on her own. You know, I just mentioned her husband.
She was
go ahead,
and is a business consultant.
Okay, there you go.
And so her approach to how marriage works is taken from the fact that she is a businesswoman.
Yes.
Am I not right?
That's
right.
Correct.
So I always like to ask, before we go into that question, tell us a little bit about you, where you come from, how you got to this point of being able to write this book. A little more about where you grew up and how y'all got married and Okay.
Sure. I'll give you the short version, but we've been married, like I said, it'll be 24 years and on August 12th, but I was born and raised in Cleveland, Ohio. I'm the oldest of three girls, from a poor family. I mean, we didn't have much at all. But just hardworking, I'm Midwest. I'm from Cleveland, Ohio. We're Midwest, hardworking folks. So that kind of just tells you a little bit about who I am. I'm a hard worker, like just good work ethic. So I'm going to outwork anybody. I'm probably may not be the smartest in the room. I'm going to definitely be the hardest worker type person. I met my husband. We actually, my line sister and his fraternity brother was dating, and they introduced us. And his fraternity brother, you'll get a kick out of this, Willie. He said, "I met your wife, man. You got to meet this woman. I met your wife." Dante's like, "Yeah, right. You met my wife. Yeah, sure." and then it was like, he's like, "I bet you this is your wife. You got to come meet her." He's like, "Yeah." I was a $5 bet, D. I was bet $5 that I would be, and we got married. So my husband
Had to pay
$5 later, I'm a $5 bet. So anyway, I don't know how I felt about being a $5 bet, but so yeah, I mean, his friends, like this lady, I'm telling you, she is like you in woman form. Like y'all, you are so much alike.
Good.
And we met, and the rest is history. I mean, we dated and got married. It probably wasn't even, it was a little bit over a year and a half. But it was pretty quickly, and we both were in banking and kind of, in the same career paths. And next thing you know, we're married, we're doing life together and trying to figure out this marriage thing. So I will say that my work after the banking years, I became I went to school for organizational psychology, organizational behavior, became a strategist and helping companies with their strategy. And so, I kind of solve problems through like strategy. So like, what's the, what is the business plan? Like, what is the business strategy?
That's what I wanted to get to, because that's what this.
So when everything else went awry in my marriage, I was like, well, what I do know is strategy. Let me figure it. Maybe I can solve this the way I solve business problems. These complex business solutions seem easy. Let's figure it out. So that's kind of the foundation of the book, if you will.
That's why I wanted to get to and give you, so we can get people to understand. You just didn't make this book up and you're for some woman walking down the street. You are a strategist, a consultant, a thinker, and you use these strategies. The book is Marriage Business from Proposal to Prosperity, Building Your Dynasty the Fortune 500 Way. That's why I wanted her to talk. Now you can ask.
She uses terms from her business arena.
Yes.
Like SWOT. I had never thought about SWOT in marriage.
SWOT.
Right.
Okay.
So talk about that and how you made the business SWOT into a marriage SWOT and what it
Absolutely.
is.
So the SWOT in a business is your strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats. People who deal with SWOTs know that strengths and weaknesses are kind of the internal side of an organization. Opportunities and threats are the external side of the organization, what's going on outside. And so it's kind of the same concept in your marriage, like strengths and weaknesses are individual. What are our strengths and weaknesses as an individual and in our marriage? How can we leverage these strengths and weaknesses? Our opportunities and threats are like, what is outside of the marriage that could also play a role inside the marriage? It could be, your in-laws, it could be your job, it could be all of these other things that are outside the marriage, but also offers these threats or opportunities to succeed. And so in the book, I love the book because, and I love your book. First of all, let me start there. I've read y'all's book, and y'all's book is a game changer, just so you know. So they have to read your book first, and then they can kind of read my book after they read your book.
Bless your heart. I love when you talk.
But what I do love about the book that I wrote is that that each chapter is kind of a competency thing, a theory thing. So like it's a concept. It's either the communication strategy. It's, your goals and your vision and your mission. It's something that we're financial. You do the financial, chapter. Each chapter talks about kind of theory, and then you do working sessions, and that's the application. So you're actually applying real time the theory that we just talked about. You just learned about this. Now you're applying it. So you're doing working sessions. The great thing about that is that when you finish the book, you come away with your strategic plan for your marriage. You have done the work now. now you have your foundation of a strategic plan, because each chapter you've done the working sessions. So you now have a strategy for your marriage. And so that's what I really love about the book. So the SWOT is just, first you got to, before you can get to all that other good stuff, what's our strengths and weaknesses? Can we leverage some of these things? What's our threats? If we don't focus on, getting rid of this threat in our marriage, that's going to be a problem. So we got to focus on figuring out what those things are so we can kind of tackle the other theories that we're going to talk about and apply them in the book.
Wow.
I like the fact that with each chapter, the theory, she then gives space to write the information in the book. That I really like. So that's how you actually come away with your plan.
So you write so it's like a book and a workbook put together.
Correct.
That's correct. Absolutely.
And look, it's a thick book. This is not a little 20-page book. This is a thick book. So there's a lot of content, a lot of data. Okay, keep going.
So the question, another point that I found very interesting was the personality test that you used. And because we deal with, when we're teaching at our church about personalities, she said this, he heard that. And why is that? Because we are wired differently. And your particular test was one I had not seen before. So talk a little bit about the personality profiles and how they affect what it is that we see and how we respond differently to the same information.
Yeah, so I like that part. And I think it's important because it helps you deal with how you approach your spouse. If I know that my spouse is very optimistic about things, I know how to approach them. If I know, we talk about kind of, there might be somebody who's more like, neurotic, and they're kind of like, this is what's important to them. They're off, they spring off and, into space, but they're really focused on these kind of things. That's what, that's their drivers. It's so important to really speak your spouse. It's kind of like the love language book, if you will.
Yes.
You have to speak their language. I have to know if I'm speaking to a pessimist or optimist. I have to know if, your focus is going to be, you're going to hone in on this one little thing I say, and you're not going to hear anything else. I have to know really, kind of foundationally who my spouse is, because I got to speak their language. So that's kind of that I felt like that piece was important, only because we can talk in these generalistic terms about how you approach things, but the truth is, if I'm not speaking your language, it doesn't really matter about my approach, because you're not going to hear me because I'm not speaking your language.
Right.
It's
about that.
Language.
Right.
So the test that you have in your book, whatever it is, I had not seen that before. Would you share? Because that's something that you offer people to also to be able to take the test so they can figure out who they are. Spouse can take it and figure out who they are, and then start to work together.
Exactly. So I can say to, my spouse, look, I'm very optimistic. So, I'm going to always see the grass is green. And you may get frustrated with that because that's how I approach life. I need to be able to say that and command to my spouse how I need him to understand, like talk to me, speak my language. And when it was important, and I'm a strategist, so as an organizational psychologist, I do a lot of tests like Myers-Briggs and Enneagram, and I love the test. So that one was one that was easy, that you didn't have to go into like, a whole, you didn't have to meet with somebody and get the results and all that. It was one that you can like on the surface kind of quickly analyze and hear like the details and, kind of here's generally how this person operates. And you can kind of, put some characteristics together and figure out, okay, I know my person is this, the optimistic person or the neurologist or, the neurist person. I know these things about them. So I had to find one that I think was easy enough that somebody didn't have to go to a psychologist or go and, to somebody who's certified to do the like Myers-Briggs testing, but could still have a firm understanding of how I need to communicate to my spouse where they can hear what I'm saying and we can connect. Because oftentimes, I don't have to tell you guys, you've been married long enough. If you disconnect on some of that front end stuff, you can't even get to all of the nuances and the back end stuff because you're so focused on you said this way, and I'm sure y'all don't have this, but I'm talking about all the other people who have all these problems in their relationship. You guys have figured it out, but all of the rest of us in the world, we get stuck on, you said it this way, and we can't get to the good stuff because we so busy on, I'm disconnected already because you didn't speak my language,
Right.
This and I didn't hear the rest. So, anyways, that was one that was easy enough. I thought that people could gravitate to it and quickly find out kind of personality or characteristics.
Where do they go? Give them where they can go to take the test in case they don't have your book, which we're going to mention again.
Yeah, so they need to go to my book, but I don't know. I gotta, I might have to send that to y'all because I'm trying to remember it off the top of my head.
Look, here's what I want to get to. I want to read this little quote, communication. It's in the book, page 173. While research
the exact page on me, 173. Okay.
So it says, while researching successful marriages and traits, marriage experts and marriage counselors, the common ingredient that I found for a successful marriage is the practice of healthy communication. Because you just mentioned about how important it is to talk to each other in that language. Healthy is the key word here. Many couples communicate, but are they communicating in a healthy manner? Healthy communication takes much practice. I am still learning the formula for healthy communication. Healthy communication begins with listening and then confirming what you have heard from the other person. Tell us how that has had an impact on not only your marriage, but I also want you to tell some object lessons of people who have been blessed by this book, because I know they have, because this book is just so profound and so incredible about how it's about like a business and building the business block by block, brick by brick. How important is the communication in it?
The communication is everything. In my book, I use examples about unhealthy communication. We learn from habits or patterns or experiential learning, right?
Right.
And so usually your foundation of how you learn something is from either, your experiences as a child, how you saw your parents interact and communicate, those types of things. You take that into your marriage. For us, one very healthy. I use an example of, my mom's way of communication was slamming doors. She slammed that door and the house would shake. We knew, mama, it's not a good night for mom. She didn't curse my dad out. And 2 or 3 days later, she might come out and act like everything's okay. They didn't communicate. So then there was this resentment. And and what happened in my marriage is so funny, Willie and Dee. I saw that didn't work for them. They got divorced. You know what I did? Slam the door. Like, did that work for them? No. So what I learned is that this healthy communication does not happen through a slam door, but it happens from, okay, we having conversation and I'm listening. And I've learned too also to take in information and wait a day or so before I really regurgitate it or act on it. But I will say in the moment though, is what I heard you say was this. Tell me if that's what I heard you say, right? And he may say, yes, you heard X, but add this, I didn't say that, which that's what you perceive, you receive from it. What I said was, I don't like this, which, you thought I said, I don't like it when you do this. I said, I don't like it at all. Right. So it gives the healthy communication is one where I hear what he has to say. Then I say, this is what I heard you say. Is that right? It gives him a chance to say absolutely, or yes, or no, that's not what I said at all. And here's what I really wanted to say. Then I can go back and say, okay, so what I really heard you say was this. Is that right? At least I'll walk away, even if I don't comment or act on that conversation in that moment. What I can do is I can at least have a good understanding of what I heard. And I can now think about what the application of it. So when I do come back, at least I heard it right. Even if I agree with it or disagree, I heard it. I can take it back, process it for myself, and then come back and talk about my thoughts about it or my plan for it. And I've learned to do that versus reacting in the moment or answering right away. I need to sit with it a bit. And my husband has learned to do the same thing. But the clarification is everything, because oftentimes if you don't do that, healthy communication is what I heard was this. You take away something that absolutely was not what the person intended for them to say, whether they said it and you received it wrong, or they said it wrong and you received it right, but they didn't mean for it to be communicated that way. We have to get clarity before we walk away. And I will tell you this, the testimonies that I have received from this book has been such a blessing for me. You just kind of talk about your experiences. I know for me, I'm a fixer. I'm a problem solver. So for me, this book was about, look, I don't know how else to fix things, but I fix the businesses for people all the time. They pay me to do this. It has to, so maybe if I tried in marriage, it'll work, So I tried it and it seems to work. I will tell you, I have got so many testimonies about people saying, we've done a study, a couples group, and we brought 8 couples together. And let me tell you about the marriages that were saved in it. And tears just are flowing, you guys.
Wow.
To hear somebody say, we just needed tools. We didn't have tools.
That's right.
I talk about in the book too. It said, we get married, and if you like me, I'm a Christian.
Right.
And at the wedding, people say, I want to toast to the groom and the bride. I want to keep God first in your marriage.
Yeah.
And when things all hell break loose, do that mean get the Bible and throw the Bible at him? Does that keep first? What does keep God first mean? Like, I need step 1, do this, step 2, do, because I don't know what keep God first means when I'm angry.
Right.
Like, I don't know if that means get the Bible first, leave, and then take the Bible with me. What does that mean, keep God first? Exactly. Like, pray first, and then what? I need you to tell me what. So the book was about, okay, after you have a foundation of who is in your life, I do believe in Christ. So that's in our marriage, he first.
Right.
But then it's, okay, now we need tools, because I'm a solver. So I need I need solutions. This is step 1, you do this, step 2. And that's what the book does. So to hear people say the book was game changer, because even just, people talking about doing a family crest. And that process for my family, what that meant for us to have these 3 words: discipline, determination, desire, what that meant for my kids, building on that, I cannot tell y'all how this has been game changer for me. To hear people have hope and have tools now to save their marriage. It's been a blessing for me.
Now,
that's what I wanted to hear. Yes.
I want you to touch on one section you talk about.
Real quick. This is the Family Crest page about the family. It's fantastic.
You talk about mission, vision, and values. And I guess out of that came your family crest. Talk about that and the value of it. And you said legacy begins with your mission.
Before you go there, I want to pull out Pearl, as she said, that I don't want y'all to let it pass by. For my XM show, I always pull out the pearls. She said how important the word. She said clarity. This is what you said, but this question. So we call it LQC. Listen, question, clarify. And she said it in that very clear way that she would say this, and then they would talk about it and say, is that what you heard? Oh, not quite. So that's a question, listen, then question, then clarify. Okay, now please.
I love that, LQC. That's exactly what we're doing.
Yes.
LQC.
All right, go here with the mission,
vision, and values.
Yeah, so for us, I keep going back to the church. I'm sorry, y'all.
That's all right. Hey, we ain't got no problem. We like going back to church.
That's our foundation, so I'll go back to that.
In the church will save your marriage if you use the principles. Okay, come on.
That's right.
And make God an equal part. It's a triangle. Okay, go ahead. I'm about to preach now that you didn't talk me up.
That's right. It's God. It's you, God, and it's in the spouse, the Trinity. That's right. So for us, in the church, they say, you have to be equally yoked.
Yes.
For us, we say we have to have core values. We have to have value. We have to align in our values, right? So that the mission, vision, and values and all of that is all about one, do we have one? Let's start with our core values. Are we aligned in that, So whatever that is, like for us, one of our core values is impact. Like we want to have this greater impact on our community, on our family. We want to leave an impact. We talk about legacy. In the book, I talk about legacy versus dynasty and the difference between a legacy and a dynasty. And, there's a lot of, talk about that. legacy is important, but dynasty is outlasting. I use an example. I don't know if y'all saw where, my husband just got a dorm room named after him at the University of Charlotte.
Wow.
Oh, congratulations.
And so I say, legacy is, having your name on a deed. Dynasty is having your name on a building. It's different. It's like, we can create legacies, but dynasty is it's everlasting. It outlives you. It's like, legacy is maybe one generation. Dynasty is future generations and generations and generations, And so you got to have so when you talk about your values, like, first of all, our value, do we have the same value? Impact is one of ours, having this faith-based union is another one. Like, we got to have a faith base. We're equally yoked, equally aligned in that. And before you can even get to your mission, like, you got to make sure your values are aligned, because we on this mission, we doing this work together, but are we equally yoked? Are we equally aligned in our value? Are we seeing things the same? Do we want to have greater impact in our community? Why is that important? And so all of those discussions are so foundational and so pivotal and important to before you can build a family crest and all that. It's like, do we have the same core values? If not, do I at least understand your mission and believe in your mission so that I can help you, get to your mission? Because we don't have to have the same mission, right? Dee, what you do is different than what Willie's doing, right? But you believe in his mission, and you're his helpmate. You helping him get there because you believe in it. You're, kind of making sure you give it credibility, validating it. That's for us the same thing. Like, I don't have the same mission as Dante. He got a whole different mission. Go on and do your financial stuff. That's your mission. That's not my mission. Thank you, but that's not. But do you believe in my mission? Are you helping me achieve my God-given talents and my God-given mission? Because God put me on this earth to do some things that I have to outlive Dante and I's relationship. So once we get that, then we can talk with our kids, and we bring our kids into our business, because our marriage is a business. We bring our kids in and we say, look here, we're building this dynasty. Y'all got to be a part of this dynasty. This is our core values. Are y'all aligned with this? They got to be aligned too, or they gonna get up out of here. You gotta be aligned too. And so we brought them in, and even designing the crest, and like, why is discipline and determination so important? Why is desire so important? Why are these words critical to who we are and what God has for us? Because we got things that we have to fulfill that outlives us. We're gonna leave legacy. Legacy to me is financial. It's transitioning wealth. Our kids are gonna have wealth. That's fine. Dynasty is, how do you manage the legacy? How do you manage the wealth? Are you philanthropic? Are you making impact in your community? Are you making sure that this lasts generation and generation and generation? Because legacy, honey, these kids can spend your money up and it be gone the next generation. But dynasty is we're investing, we're planting seeds so we can have continuous growth. It's a difference in mindset. And so that's the mindset shift we have with our children. We have weekly discussions. We have weekly meetings. I don't know if y'all saw that in the book. On Sundays, we just had our weekly meeting yesterday. We have weekly meetings with our kids. What happened good this week? What happened bad? Let's talk about it. What's going to happen this week? What are you going to do differently? How are you going to have impact this week? My 5-year-old talking about this. This is a business. This is a dynasty, and we got to start him. We got to change his mindset at 5. He has to understand you're part of something that's greater than you.
Right. Let me read. First of all, where can people get the book? Let me say that before I read the quote from it.
Yes, you can get the book right on Amazon. And I got to send y'all the updated, because we got the hard copy now. I got to get y'all the hard copy. It's in the mail for y'all tomorrow.
All right. Yeah, that's fantastic.
And it's on Amazon. Please go and purchase it. You can get an Audible, so you can hear my voice on Audible if you want. If you're one of those people who like to just hear it. But you still got to get this one, because it's got to write in it. It's like you're building.
Let me read this testimonial about the book on the back of the book. We all know that we use GPS applications on our phones to show us how to get to our desired destinations. They give us a turn-by-turn instruction that makes our journeys easier. Bonika Wilson's book, Marriage Business, provides the same type of help for marriages. Logical, straightforward instructions, analogies, probing questions, and checklists help you arrive at your marriage legacy filled with joy, mutual respect, and financial freedom. With the backdrop of her past and desires to change her generational landscape, Bonika Wilson produces the handbook that will become your marriage thriving guide. Let the pages of Marriage Business give you turn-by-turn instructions as you master the strategies for developing your marital vision, implementing your goals, and even solidifying your schedule and budget to guarantee financial independence. Bonika Wilson makes you realize marriage is a business and provides the much-needed guidance that will help you leverage your marital relationship as the most powerful asset. Let her be your GPS to marriage success. Follow her lead. That's written by Dr. Willie and Dee Jolley.
I was about to say, y'all know the famous people that wrote that. Oh, that was good. That was some famous celebrities that
wrote that. This is fantastic book, Marriage Business, From Proposal to Prosperity, Building Your Dynasty, the Fortune 500 Way. I love how she has the Sunday with your family. They talk through what their goals are. Far too few people do that. Talk about money. I don't know about you, but my mama didn't really sit down and talk about investment or strategies or business with me. She said, save your money. That's what I did. Okay. Grandma told me, save your money, which is what I did. But they didn't do about investments. I saved a lot of money, but I wasn't investing it. These parents, on the other hand, on the same token, they too worked hard, but they never talked about the money for the long term. So because that was not part of the generational structure that they grew up in. So now we try and talk about it. Dee has books where every week or every month now, when we get our children all over, they come in and we have a sit down on the finances, on what we want them to do. And we know, and they know where we want to be.
Educating them, because many don't know what a Roth is.
Yeah. So anyway, any other questions? I want to get one more question in. I know we're a little past time. Okay. Folks, we're going into overtime tonight. This is so good. We're going a little bit into overtime because this woman is incredible. Marriage Business, From Proposal to Prosperity. Bonika, Bonika Wilson. All right.
I like the idea. Bonika says your plan is the beginning and your execution is how you win.
Yep. I can't tell you how many with businesses, we work with a lot of businesses, right? They come in, we come in, they say, hey, can we need to do a strategic plan. Our company is going through this, we just merged with another company. We're trying to merge our cultures, our values, and all of this. Our employees are like not really motivated, blah, blah, blah. And we say, well, let's see your last strategic plan. The one you did, 3-5 years ago. Let's see that. Dee, Willie, you know what they do?
Right.
They go start looking through drawers. Where is that strategic plan? Because we want to see, did y'all even do that? They do like this. Here it is. I'm like, so did y'all even do the work in the strategic plan? No, they kind of put it up once the consultant left. They threw it in the drawer. And I'm like, so y'all didn't even try to do what you were supposed to do before. Like, a lot of people do the work in planning. They don't do the work in execution. So even with on the business side, with our businesses, when we consult businesses, guess what we give them? Their strategic plan is on a big map that they can put in like in a place where all the employees can see the strategy. It looks like a map. Because you're not going to be putting our strategic plan in a drawer and have dust on it 3-4 years later. We need this to be a working document. And it's the same thing with my marriage. Like our strategic plan is a working document. We work on it every day, every week, every month. Our kids work on it. They know the plan. They can tell you our mission. They can tell you our core values. They can tell you our family crescent, our words. My 5-year-old can tell you that. We are serious about this. You know why? Because it's like a business to us. Because guess what? If in your business, if you can't make payroll, that's a problem.
Come on.
Hello.
In our marriage, if we can't make payroll, that's a problem. So we all committed to making this thing work. Even that 5-year-old.
Wow.
Or he got to get out. You committed to this.
Hey, little 5-year-old, you got to get this out.
We all bought into this strategy in this family. There is no failure. There's no failure in our marriage. There's no failure. We're committed to it like we're committed to our business,
Amen. Failure is not an option, and
I
it's
love
commitment. That's what I love about it. You're committed to it. Will there be challenges? Yes. Will there be difficulties? Yes. But you don't make divorce an option.
It's not an option. That's right.
Not an option. We're going to work through this. We're going to get it done. Wow. We love this.
We determined to have a jolly good marriage.
Come on now. Come on now. Well, I want to thank you, Bonika Wilson, for being our special guest on this special edition of the Jolley Marriage Show. Any closing thoughts that you want to share with people, as well as where they can get the book?
Absolutely. I just, first of all, want to thank you guys so much for being a blessing one to Dante and I.
Yes.
First of all, Willie, you have been a blessing to my husband. You've been a mentor to him. We appreciate you so very much. And Dee has become a mentor to me. I don't know if you know that, but Dee and I have our own little relationship, and she has been a blessing to me and a blessing to not only us as individuals, but definitely to our marriage. So I cannot thank you guys enough for pouring into our marriage, for being seeds for us, helping us grow. Y'all are a blessing to us, and we just want to be a blessing to others because y'all have done for us. We just want, we got to be good stewards. Y'all gave to us, and we want to do seed and give to others as well. So just, first of all, thank you guys so very much. Y'all don't know how valuable y'all have been in our relationship. So thank you. And then the other thing is, hey, make sure you check me out. I'm at bonikawilson.com. I have a podcast called Marriage Business Mondays. Check it out. You can go to my bonikawilson.com page and find my book is on Amazon, but you can also join my YouTube and be a part of my community, The Business with B. So thank you so much, guys, for having me. I love you both so very much.
I love you. You're so vivacious. And folks, she is just dynamite. We spent a lot of time down in North Carolina. Oh, we just love being with her and Dante. And so we just love them. Thank you, Bonika. And want to thank all of you. Please, folks, do us a favor. Pass this interview on. Share it with your network. Share it with others. Tell them to go and watch it, and then buy the book. Bonika's book is Marriage Business.
Because marriage is a business.
That's right. From proposal to prosperity, building your dynasty, the Fortune 500 way. I highly recommend you go get it, and then get copies for your folks in your network who need to be encouraged in their marriage. Kiss your husband. You got all boys, don't you? It's all boys.
All boys, 3 boys.
That's right. So they got all boys that keep them going, but we just love them. Have a great day, everybody. Now, everybody else, we will see you next Monday night. Remember, you can go to jolleymarriage.com and get our book and get the free chapter at jolleymarriage.com and watch the TED Talk. We want everybody to watch the TED Talk. We've been married 39 years, haven't had an argument in 37 years. You want to know how we did it. It's a secret is right there on the TED Talk. We'll give it to you in 10 minutes on the TED Talk, and you'll know how to do it. And then last but not least, if you have some issues in your marriage, and if you say, I got some need, I want to repair places, we got the Marriage Repair Series, which is a 5-part series that you can get. We have a whole session on communication, then on finances, then on sex, then on family, then on blended families. And then there's a bonus, the 11 biggest mistakes people make in their relationships and how to fix them. You can get that at jolleymarriage.com/events. jolleymarriage.com/events. So Jolley Marriage got everything. You can get the TED Talk. You can get 2 copies of the book or the bundle, which is 2 books, 2 workbooks, an audio book, and a seminar on CD, a DVD. And then you can get all of that at Jolley Marriage. Well, that's it. Thank you, Bonika. Kiss Dante for us. Love you.
Thank you.
And we're going to go out with music from my jazz album called Close to You. Here we go.
Why do birds suddenly appear every time you are near? Just like me, they long to be close to you.